Now, we'll move on to the second station. So let's have the picture for the second station. This is the station that's associated with the Akfa, the crown center. It's a station of emptiness, of samadhi. And this picture of Murshid can help us to attune to that state of samadhi, a state of wonder, of awe, of blowing of the mind. And the music for this station is silence. Murshid said that the greatest teachings are transmitted in silence. So let's just, maybe perhaps with the eyes open, take a few moments or a few minutes in silence just to absorb this state of being of Murshid, transmitting to us something that's ineffable, can't be said in words. So the first story I want to share is a memory of a Murid who attended one of the summer schools and remembered this experience at the summer school. No doubt the most sacred moments during the summer school came when Murids sat in turn, one at a time, before the master for a few seconds while he was in samadhi, the supreme state of consciousness. On those Saturdays, Murshid started meditating uninterruptedly from 5 o'clock in the morning and was brought to the hall in a state of complete absorption in the divine unity, flanked by two Murids, in order to give the Murids a glimpse of the sublime yonder to which all aspired. When he opened his eyes to give a blessing through his glance, they seemed as though burnt by the blinding effulgence of angelic realms and drawn into an unearthly stratum of his higher consciousness. It was a way of making people glow by igniting their souls with the luster of the illuminated glance. A German leader, Scherdil Rettig Heidel, wrote, "It was as though a veil had been lifted into heaven." So these are words of Pir Vilayat. And so maybe take a moment to imagine being present at that summer school and having that opportunity to sit before Murshid when he opened his eyes and experience that heavenly transmission. And these are some words of Murshid about his own experience. The soul is an individual portion of the all-pervading consciousness. It is undivided because it is the absolute being. It is completely filled with the whole existence. The portion of it that is reflected by a certain name or form becomes comparatively more conscious of the object reflected in it than of all other objects. Our minds and body, being reflected upon a portion of the all-pervading consciousness, make that part of consciousness an all-pervading soul, which, in reality, is a universal spirit. This individual soul experiences the external world through the medium of the bodies reflected in it, namely our mind and body. The soul in itself alone is no other than consciousness, which is all-pervading. But when the same consciousness is caught in a limitation through being surrounded by elements, in that state of captivity, it is called soul. And then this is another teaching of Murshid about soul. The soul may be considered a condition of God, a condition which makes the only being limited for a time. A soul only exists as an individual, and from that time that it shoots out as a current through the different spheres until the time when it goes back and meets its original being. A new ray vivifies each incarnation, for the action of the soul is not to go out and to come halfway back and to go out and again come back from there. The action of the soul is the same as the action of the breath. It goes out fully, and it is drawn in fully. As the air, by being caught in water, becomes a bubble for the moment, and as the waves of the air, being caught in a vessel, become a sound, so intelligence, being caught by the mind and body, becomes the soul. It is only a condition of the intelligence, which is the soul. In reality, before this journey, the soul is not a soul, nor does the soul remain a soul after this journey. Take this in, not simply as a concept of what a soul is, but as the experience of your own soul. And your relationship to the divine intelligence, the pure intelligence, the only being. As a breath fully breathed in and fully breathed out. And then a final reading for this station. I first believed without any hesitation in the existence of the soul, and then I wondered about the secret of its nature. I persevered and strove in search of the soul, and found at last that I myself was the cover over my soul. I realized that that in me which believed, and that in me which wondered, that which persevered in me, and that which found, and that which was found at last, was no other than my soul. I thanked the darkness that had brought me to the light, and I valued the veil which prepared me for the vision in which I saw myself reflected, the vision produced in the mirror of my soul. Since then, I have seen all souls as my soul, and realized my soul as the soul of all. And what bewilderment it was when I realized that I alone was, if there were anyone, that I am whatever and whoever exists, and that I shall be whoever there will be in the future. And there was no end to my happiness and joy. Verily, I am the seed, and I am the root, and I am the fruit of this tree of life. So don't try to grasp this with your mind, but open to allowing this just as a mystery which is uh, bewildering. And the practice for this station is Ya Rab, which Pirzia has translated as the one to whom I belong. So the one to whom I belong uh, in this way that Murshid has just described, the one from whom I emerge and to whom I return, in whom I have my whole being. So let's just say this Ya Rab 11 times. Ya Rab, 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 Ya Rab. So in this stage, we empty ourselves and we just allow ourselves to be carried back to our true home.